Hi, I'm Enrique Castro Sanchez, and I would like to talk to you over the next few minutes about some of the factors that may lead us to a world without antibiotics. I think it's important to remember that even before COVID-19, infections were important, and this slide tells you the proportion of people around the world who were burdened by infections. Think about it. This is London, a 9 million people city. If we don't do anything and improve how we use antibiotics, by 2050, some sources suggest that up to 10 million people may die as a result of drug-resistant infections. So what can we do about it? Well, you may think that all we have to do is use antibiotics better. And it's true, we're using antibiotics too frequently. However, if you're thinking that just improving how we use antibiotics for people, that we will solve the problem, you may not be completely right. If we focus on humans alone, it would not be enough to address the challenges of antimicrobial resistance because we use antibiotics in animal health as well. And such use of antibiotics may be driven by some of the ways in which we rear animals. You may also need to take into account the social reality of infections and drug resistance. Why is it that some people get sick? And you've got inequality in the top left of the slide, as well as poverty and deprivation as some of the main drivers for infections and therefore drug resistance. And we have already done some work that tell us some of the factors related to poverty that can also lead to infections and resistance. Poverty itself can be a driver of infections and resistance. And imagine how important it would be to lift those 115 million people in the European Union out of poverty, if poverty is indeed associated with infections and resistance. Other factors down the line that may be increasing the number of infections and therefore the amount of antibiotics we use is the climate crisis and how it may be changing some of the infections around the European Union, but also around the world. Of course, the climate crisis is driven by some of our behaviors. And again, it's important to think about how you can contribute to limiting those factors that can be driving the climate crisis and therefore could be linked to increased infections and appropriate use of antibiotics. This really quick tour of some of the factors that you can impact upon that could be related to infections and antimicrobial resistance has shown you that you can contribute towards appropriate use of antibiotics by, of course, increasing your prescribing skills, but also you can help by addressing some of the reasons that lead us to use antibiotics in the first instance. Of course, don't forget advocacy for and with your patients and citizens. I hope you enjoyed this really brief talk. Bye.